Hello and welcome to the Landed Property Diary. Now, a lot of you viewers have asked us to delve in the conversation on inheritance and succession. So today what I want to do is find out what is the process of succession and inheritance and the importance of writing a will. Karibuni sana, I am your host, Naomi. Inheritance refers to the process by which the assets of a deceased person are passed on to their heirs. These assets can include land, property, money, business, and personal belongings. In Kenya, inheritance is governed by both customary laws and formal legal frameworks, which dictate how these assets are distributed.
Inherited land is property that has been gotten after the demise of, or after death of the owner. And there are two types that inherited land can fall under, either through testate, what we call testate, where someone passes on having written a will and they have indicated who should get what and the sizes and the location, or it could be through intestate, where they die without a will, and when they die without a will, then they have to follow through and go to court and get a court order, what we call the confirmation of grant, indicating who gets what.
Succession is the legal process of managing and distributing a deceased person's estate. In Kenya, the Law of Succession Act of 1981 is the primary legislation governing the process. The Act applies to all Kenyans regardless of their ethnicity or religion and provides guidelines on how an estate should be divided when someone dies with or without a will. A will is a legal document that outlines how a person wishes their assets to be distributed after their death. It is a critical tool that allows individuals to control what happens to their estate, ensuring that their wishes are respected and their loved ones are cared for.
Basically, succession is very straightforward. The family would be able to go to the nearest magistrate's court and will be advised on whether this jurisdiction of a magistrate can decide on that petition. And filing of a petition is as simple as putting in a copy of the death certificate, a letter from the chief indicating who are the beneficiaries of the estate, and that document is taken for gazettement, and gazettement gives a notice to the members of the public, a period of 6 months, to come and protest. If there's anyone who has an interest in this property, they will come and protest. And upon expiry of the 6 months, then members of the family can go back to court and now confirm the grant and the appointment of the personal administrators. Then these personal administrators, depending on what was indicated on what we call a distribution schedule, that Naomi has gotten 5 acres, John has gotten 10 acres, this is already indicated.
Having a will is important for several reasons. First, it helps prevent disputes among family members, as the will clearly states how the assets should be divided. Second, it allows you to make specific provisions for your loved ones, including minor children, dependents, and even charitable organizations. Finally, a will can help reduce the time and cost associated with the legal process of succession. If someone dies without a will, they are said to have died intestate. In such cases, the Law of Succession Act determines how the estate is divided. While the law seeks to distribute assets fairly, it may not align with the deceased person's wishes. Creating a will in Kenya is a straightforward process, but it must be done correctly to be legally binding. The first step is to take stock of your assets, including land, property, bank accounts, and personal items. Next, decide how you want your assets to be distributed and who will be the beneficiaries. It is also important to appoint an executor, who is the person who will be responsible for carrying out your wishes.
Now the personal administrator can sign off on behalf of the deceased person the transfer of this land belonging to Naomi or to John to now be taken to be now transferred to the new person, who can now sell it to any person who they wish to sell it to. But also, if a person dies with a will, then a copy of the will be attached to the petition. It will be gazetted, and after gazettement period, now the beneficiaries will appear in court for confirmation of grant.
For a will to be valid in Kenya, it must meet certain legal requirements. This will must be in writing, signed by the testator, and witnessed by at least 2 people who are not beneficiaries. These witnesses must also sign the will in the presence of the testator. It is advisable to have a lawyer draft or review the will to ensure it meets all legal standards. Inheritance disputes are a common challenge in Kenya, particularly in cases where there is a will or where the will is contested. Disputes often arise over land, which is highly valued in Kenya. These disputes can lead to lengthy court battles, straining family relationships and even violence. As Kenya continues to modernize, the nature of assets and wealth is changing. More people now have digital assets, investments, and businesses that must be accounted for in their wills. Additionally, changing family structures, including blended families and cohabiting partners, require a flexible approach to succession planning. Well, there you have it. A will is more than just a legal document. It is also a way of leaving a legacy to ensure your loved ones are taken care of. Let me take a short break. I'll be right back with the players.